And out of their West Indian island comes a tale of terror and voodoo, of witchcraft and zombies.
And a farmer with the longest shotgun you've ever seen plays the villain.
This is Schlock Your Socks Off. Welcome to another episode of Schlock Your Socks Off. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm dead inside.
And you are?
I'm Bree. G'day.
Oh, great. She's going to be doing an Australian accent the whole time.
No.
So, we definitely went off the rails for this episode. This might be the weirdest one we've done to date. I would just like the listeners, or listener, I guess, to know before we start this review that this was not my decision. I wanted to watch Puppet Master. That's what I wanted the movie of the week to be, but I lost to a fucking coin flip. So,
in my defense, because I think I'm the person that said let's put it on the list, and of course Brianna backed me up because she understands. Mike's the one who stopped on it. He's the one that stopped on it and looked over at me like, "Are you seeing this too?" And
but I didn't know. I didn't know.
Mike did suggest it. He put it on the list multiple times.
All right, let's stop beating around the bush here. Since I'm an unwilling participant this week in the whole thing, I'm gonna let the breakdown duties go to Bree this week. So, what movie did we watch?
Well, sorry, Mike. So the movie that we watched tonight was Sabrina Down Under. And if you know, the 90s TV show called Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was immensely popular, it was a spin-off movie. And
a straight-to-TV spin-off movie, which we found out, and I didn't know this, was a sequel. Apparently to the 1998 straight-to-television, air quote, film, end air quote, Sabrina Goes to Rome.
Ooh. But what this movie was basically about was Sabrina goes to Australia to get away from her duties and from her animal, what's it called? Guardian or chaperone? Yeah. Salem, the very witty and funny black cat. So she goes to Australia to vacation, catch up with her friend Gwen, who was, Mike?
And this was the part that I found impressive, because I didn't recognize her at first because of how old this movie is, but Gwen is played by the crazy talented voice actress Tara Strong. And that is actually the highlight of this movie, in my opinion. Her British accent's so convincing that until I looked up the movie on Wikipedia, I thought she was a British actress, only to find out that it was actually Timmy Turner and the current voice of Harley Quinn in the animated Batman universe. So yeah, she was a highlight of this.
I'd say barely even a highlight. This movie has no highlights, I would say. Like, she's awesome and I love her and she's so talented and everything, but this movie has no highlights whatsoever.
You didn't like Salem?
No.
Salem was food.
Yeah, I agree. Salem was funny. Like, if they had made that whole movie about this wizard trapped in a cat's body on vacation in Australia, like they made a whole movie about that, I would have been fairly interested in it.
That does write itself. I can actually picture it.
And so, as the movie continues, she's in Australia catching up with her friend, and she's there to learn about marine biology, because, you know, what witch doesn't? So she catches up, or she meets the marine biologist there, Dr. Martin, and learns that there's a sickness in the ocean that's poisoning and killing the animals, the wildlife, the coral, and all of that not so fun stuff. And then she meets some mer people. Not dolphins, not a dolphin, mer people. They're
But here's the thing. So when she's like coming into the island at the beginning with the helicopter, she like sees something in the ocean. She's like, "Hey, what was that?" And it disappears. And we can see as the audience that it was clearly a person with like a fin. So at the very beginning of the movie, they show you that there's gonna be mer people in this movie. But then it takes a little while to actually get back to that. I'm pretty sure, when did he first show up? When they were...
That's the opening scene, because she's still in the helicopter getting to Australia.
But then they go scuba diving. Oh, I must say, I would love to go scuba diving. If there's one thing this movie did, is show me that scuba diving looks kick fucking ass.
You know, I gotta say, this movie's so ridiculous and boring that anytime they showed a merman or a mermaid or a dolphin, I was really hoping a Japanese guy was gonna pop up and just go, "Fuck are you, dolphin? Fuck are you, merman?" and then stab them to death in true Trey Parker fashion. That's all I wanted from this movie.
We didn't get any of that.
No, instead we got a hippie leftist agenda about how dumping chemicals in the ocean's bad for the environment.
Since when?
Which it is. All of you, be careful with your trash.
I'm not saying it isn't a bad thing. Just keep that shit out of my TV movie spin-offs of sitcoms. I don't need that kind of preach in a comedy.
There was this one scene that all of us laughed. There's this one scene where Sabrina and Gwen, Tara Strong's character, were walking along the beach, and I guess the merman character was maybe 10, 20 feet away from them, and they still said, "Is that a dolphin?" when it was clearly a man with a fish tail.
Not to mention they're both witches, so you'd think they would be a little less surprised by like a merman.
Or when they do finally take the rotting merman carcass or whatever he looks like, because he's washed up on the shore, they take him into their hotel room and throw him into a bathtub, and the dude like wakes up, and of course he can speak like fluent English,
and he happens to be Australian.
Yeah, Australian, but he sees the cat talking at the very beginning. He's like, "That animal talks." It's like, what kind of mystical fucking place is this? Everyone's all so shocked about all this extra shit.
And the merman doesn't believe in witches.
Yeah.
He's like, "Even I know that witches aren't real." It's like, you're a half fish, half man. Why is that hard to believe, sir?
Prove it.
Oh, God.
So Sabrina, Sabrina. She turns Mr. Merman into a man. Like, she uses her magic to turn him into a man,
and
right?
some sort of like weird Little Mermaid, like 180 take on the story. Instead of a woman who has to give up her voice to grow legs, we'll just have this dude run into a witch.
And for some reason, this is one of her spells that like lasts a little bit longer. Like I think it's a 48-hour spell instead of something she could just change on and off. So the dude was basically a mermaid or merman his entire life. And what is the first thing they do once he has legs, Mike? What was the first thing they went and did?
They went and rode jet skis.
Back in the ocean.
In the ocean that he has been living in his entire life. He didn't go for a jog. He didn't go for a walk. Or as Mike said, didn't go for like to an amusement park and ride roller coasters. He went right back to the motherfucking ocean.
And sat on top of it.
Yeah, where like the only thing he did was maybe use his foot. Or no, not even that. Like,
I'm pretty sure
use use
handle
your hands.
throttle.
So completely stupid, and I'd imagine this merman would have seen jet skis before. You shouldn't have been that excited to like ride a fucking jet ski, just because he's been around it his entire life. And merman, Mr. Barnaby was his name, Barnaby. He had a sister who wasn't having Barnaby getting legs. She's kind of taking it
racist.
personal. Yeah, she's taking it personal because she doesn't like white people with legs.
But
just doesn't like people in general, but it's still pretty racist that she's like, "You've got legs now. I can't even stand to look at you." It's like, damn, lady, that's some prejudice right there. Jeez.
Well, what really confused me about her character, her name is Finn, and she's played by Lindsay Sloan. She portrays Sabrina's best friend Val in the TV show.
Really?
Yes. So that's why I was just thinking, what the hell? Why? I don't get it.
That's also kind of weird because she has an American accent in the whole frickin' movie. So it's like this colony of Australian mermaids, and then the sister of the main mermaid's
I didn't
American.
catch that. She did have an American. Oh wow, I did not catch that.
I didn't catch a lot of things. I was fucking lost. It's not like that complex of a story, but I had no idea what was fucking going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we are being a little critical of this because, let's face it was a straight-to-TV movie for, like, a teenage girl audience based off of a sitcom, which is, quite the departure from our usual, just bad horror and sci-fi
Yeah, no, this movie
movies.
could have used some boobs and some blood.
I agree entirely. But on a more serious note, this movie does have like some really weird pacing, and I think that comes from the fact that they have a paper-thin plot. Because, I mean, the whole opening of the movie is Sabrina in a helicopter getting to the island where she's going to be staying, and it literally takes 10 minutes before you even get into exposition dialogue of why she's in Australia to begin with. Like, it's just a good 10 minutes of, like, sightseeing and montage cuts, and it's just...
It seems like there's a
like,
couple
what
of
the
them.
hell's going on right now?
I feel
Why
like-
are we here?
At the beginning, middle, and end of the movie, there's a part where it's just like a montage of scuba diving or swimming around. So we got plenty... I want to go fucking scuba diving. I know I said it, but I am going scuba diving when I get some money or witch powers.
I think that's the whole deal with this movie. They're just trying to sell people on going scuba diving and spending money, trying to go on vacations and stuff.
Yeah, no, this movie's just a big commercial for Visit Australia.
Seriously.
That should have been the last shot, like just a nice wide shot of the ocean, and then in a fancy font it pops up in the center of the screen, Visit Australia!
Skin cancer isn't that bad.
You can go down under too.
You know what I noticed? We saw koalas in the movie, but we didn't see any kangaroos. Now, why would you make a movie about Australia and not have any kangaroos in it?
Because kangaroos don't hang out by the water, and that's where they wanted to be the entire
How do
movie.
you know? Are you a kangaroo?
I'm a kangaroo expert, actually.
What, are you a whale biologist?
No. I lied to you all. I'm sorry. It's my fault we picked this movie also.
Yeah. So I guess this is the part of the show where we go into favorite part of the movie.
I guess, I know I said earlier that there's no highlights, but I do actually have one. What's the cat's name again?
Salem.
When Salem sees the female cat for the first time and a little song plays or whatever, I thought that was funny, and that always works for me. But that is it for me. Even with Salem, like, there was some funny stuff, but overall, it seemed like he'd say something funny, but then the thing immediately after or immediately before was just fucking ridiculous and or stupid and or both. So that was it. That was the highlight.
Bree, how about you?
Actually, I loved every single... No. My highlight was definitely Salem, because I just can't get enough of the actor's voice.
He is good.
Just so comical and just witty, and he's just really, really... I don't know. I laughed every time he came on screen, and he was crying half the time because the cat that he desired so much didn't give him the time of day, and she's actually a dog person. So I that was my highlight.
Oh yeah, and another add-on to that. There's like part of the montage sequences. One of the hotel workers or whatever was basically like set on just taking care of the cat, and I thought that was pretty funny. Like, he's fanning off the cats and like bringing them beverages or whatever. I thought that was silly.
That part, again, being a little too harsh on it because of what it is, a TV movie for teenage girls. That's where the suspension of disbelief is like gone for me. It's like,
are you kidding?
No
Where
hotel in the world is going to be like, oh yeah, these cats have full access to everything on the island.
Yeah.
What, bring them drinks all day? Yeah, we'll accommodate that.
This is a land with witches, mer people, and talking black cats. So
None of which know about each other.
yeah, none of which know about each other. But I think we should mention at one point the main scientist guy, I think, basically wanted to get a hold of the mermaids and do what all white men do, where they like take over and experiment on them and stuff.
And put it on display in museums and shit.
Naturally, like why not? Which they speak English. That's the weird part to me. They speak English. Why can't you like communicate with them and then learn things that way? But no, that he wants to like
Because people fear what they don't understand, Maya.
he wants to put a hook in him and gut him.
And have him mounted on his wall inside the Bass Pro Shop down the street.
But so by the end of the movie, he's like basically trying to take the one mer person and the sister. Was he taking the sister or Barnaby?
He took Barnaby first.
Well, yeah, they had him like trapped in the hotel swimming pool or whatever because the curse or the spell Sabrina put on him wore off. So his legs disappeared and his fin came back. But then the final scene where they're out on the ocean, it's his sister that he has captured in a net. Barnaby's sister.
That's right. And
Finn.
he ends up like changing his mind because Sabrina shows him the way and just explains that this isn't the way.
You become what you hate, Doctor.
Shut up, bitch. I know it.
I would have to say, for me personally, my favorite part of this hardly a film is a scene after they've rescued the merman from the hotel swimming pool. They've got him on like a room service cart, and they're trying to get him down to the dock so he can get into the ocean and be free. And they finally get to the dock, and they just like send him flying down the dock on this cart, and it hits the very edge of the dock, and he's supposed to go flying off of it and dive into the ocean. And because this movie's really bad and really poorly shot, the take they ended up using is of the actor playing Barnaby very clearly belly flopping into the water, and it looks so painful. And that is far and away my favorite scene in this entire film.
And we should also mention the green screen. Like, and it's a made-for-TV movie, sure, but anytime they use a green screen, it looks just awful.
Yes, in particular, they close out the movie with this reporter standing on the dock from which the merman dove into the ocean from. But they've got the reporter on a green screen when they literally, at some point during the process of making this film, shot on that dock. Why they couldn't have just shot the reporter's remote segment from that dock after they finished up with everything else, beyond me.
They probably didn't want to bring him all the way down to wherever they were filming.
Or they probably, like, that scene was added in a rewrite.
Yeah.
They're like, shit, we're not in Australia anymore.
This didn't get any rewrites.
just take a still shot and, we'll green screen him in.
We forgot. My least favorite green screen part, actually, they were underwater scuba diving. Still super rad. And they go all the way under, and Sabrina, the teenage witch, in case you were wondering which Sabrina, she blows like a bubble underwater, and it's like an air bubble, and they both like stick their heads into it so that they can like not have their scuba gear on or something stupid. And it looks so bad when they both are in it. It just felt fake for some reason. It's like it wasn't real.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. This was torture. I wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy.
It was an hour and 26 minutes, and I felt like we were watching it for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's time we'll never get back. I could have been playing my 1,300,255th game of NBA 2K17. Could have probably played 3 games, but no, we watched this, and yeah, it will haunt me for my days. It will be written on my gravestone when I die that I shouldn't have watched Sabrina Down Under.
Well, now Mike knows how I felt during Mortal Kombat.
Or Freddy's Dead.
We are not having this discussion again, okay? Those movies are Oscar contenders compared to Sabrina Down Under.
Mortal Kombat had no mermaids, had no talking cats, and had an awful score.
You mean the best soundtrack ever? With the best
Okay.
We're not gonna revisit this every week. I apologize. I think this is where we're gonna wrap it up, though, because
I will mention one thing. It's actually not even that important, but this movie's like edited for TV, like so there's like places for commercials, and each time the actor had like this big brooding face, and it would go like all dramatic and then come right back in. Since we were watching it on Hulu, there was no commercials, and each time it happened, it just really felt like the movie was dragging even more because they were teasing us with a fade to black, like the movie's over, and it's way fucking not almost over.
And you find yourself almost wishing for those commercial breaks so you can get a 5-minute break from the damn movie.
Yes, exactly. But I don't think I have anything else to say. What about you, Brianna?
I just came up with something that maybe I'm nitpicking, but in this mystical world of witches, talking animals, and mermaids,
and terrible CG.
And terrible CG, yes. What I didn't fancy was the fact that the mer people all had the exact same tail.
Yeah.
There was no colors. It was all just green.
An ugly green.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe these mermaids are all really incestuous, and that's why all their tails look the same? Because they're all brothers and sisters and aunt and uncle dads?
They should have just killed them all.
Just saying, something to think about.
It would have looked nice if they all different.
Because it clearly wasn't because the budget was too small or anything like that.
And obviously there's the actors and actresses who portrayed the mermaids or mer people. They're not expert swimmers, but they swam very, very slow for being, creatures of the sea. Like, it took them 5 minutes to swim off camera or off screen. So I was like, okay.
And the fucking Barnaby, when he went back to the water, because there was like an issue at one point when he had his legs, and he only had the legs for like
2 days.
Yeah, he was supposed to have him for 2 days, but it was like 10 hours in at this point, so he still had a lot of time left, and he's like, I can't swim! I think you could figure it out, Mr. Barnaby. I'm pretty sure someone could just teach you how to like wave your legs or whatever. Your arms, you'll figure it fucking out. He's all scared. He's been in the water his entire life, people.
The cutest character, though, definitely was Spout.
Spout was...
It was
the dolphin.
It was their dolphin. Their very helpful dolphin friend.
Should we also, real quick, as we're dragging this out longer and longer, should we bring up the fact that they made Tara Strong's Gwen kind of cock crazy in this movie?
Yes, she definitely was. Almost every other conversation she had with Sabrina was, what's the
What, Jerome?
Jerome? Yeah, Jerome, the white guy. It's like, Jerome's gonna take me, whatever he offered to do for her.
She's drooling over every guy in this film because, of course, Hollywood, so every dude is, a fucking hunk in this movie. But when they first used the spell to turn Barnaby from merman just to man, Sabrina suggests they cover him with a towel before they use the spell, and Gwen gets very, very unhappy about this. In this kid's film, they straight up make I wanted to see his cock joke.
Yeah, and it was probably uncircumcised too, so I don't think she did want to see
what
that.
Did she say? Spoil sport?
Yeah, something like that.
Spoil sport.
Alright, I think we've wasted enough breath on this. Please join us next week where we will be examining the filmography of the Olsen twins.
Really?
Really?
No.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Dang it.
We can watch their Rome movie.
No.
I have so many of them.
Let's watch The Challenge. It's like their Fear Factor movie. Let's watch that one.
All right, I'm ending this now.
Mary and Kate go to Paris. It Takes Two to...
All right, I'm going scuba diving.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we'll see you next week if we don't kill ourselves from having watched this movie. Nope, mine's dead.
Later, mate.
Have a good one. See ya.